Good day, everyone. I'm Johan Potgieter, and I'm the Cloud Accounting Manager here at Outsourced CFO. And we are busy with a six-part series on business resilience and intelligence. And today's session, we're going to talk a bit about compliance. And I know that's the most exciting thing to always talk about, but when we're talking about resilient business, being tax compliant and considering all the different legal requirements on a business, this is actually a very crucial pillar in making sure that you get there, because it has to form part of a cash flow considerations. It has to form part of how your business system brings back together information, but also to consider what is needed, because a lot of times for a tender, you need to be tax compliant. So making sure that you're compliant with SARS, with the Department of Labor, UIF, that your employees are actually registered to make use of this. Recently, we've got something called TARS, the Temporary Employee Relief Scheme here in South Africa during this lockdown period. But if your employees aren't registered at the Department of Labor on U-filing, and maybe you didn't pay over your UIF over to SARS at the time when it's needed, you won't be able to make use of that opportunity. CIPC, making sure that those annual dues are due and paid when they need to, so that you still have a business, that the CIPC doesn't deregister your company while you're still operating. So a tax clearance and a overall compliance of your business is a very crucial aspect to understand, and making sure that your business stays resilient and that you know what you need to do at the right time. But I want to stand still today a bit also on TARS, something that has come across quite a lot over this past few weeks. And I just want to demystify it a bit. So first things first, what is TARS? What is the purpose of TARS? And the idea is that it's for the contributors, so that's your employees who have lost their income or was required to take annual leave due to this whole COVID-19 pandemic, right? So, and also to minimize the economic impact of loss of employment for these people, right? So the whole idea is it wants to hinder the most vulnerable of the society, that they're working maybe on a per hour basis on a warehouse, and due to the lockdown, they're not allowed to come back to work, right? So in essence, they're not allowed to earn some money. And TAS is really for those kind of people will be hit the most hardest, that is maybe a complete loss of income or not able to get what they were used to. Who can apply for it? Well, it's a bulk application from the employer side that will get the money from the UIF and then pay over the relevant amounts over to the different employees that they've applied for. And this employer, as a business, you have to be facing financial distress, that's specifically due to the lockdown, and not just due to a loss of income because of the COVID-19 pandemic as a global, but really due to the lockdown restrictions that was in place in South Africa. So you had to close your operations or part of your operations. Just something to note at this stage, what is a part closure is not really defined yet. So what can you apply for? What can you expect? Well, it's based on the same principles as a standard UIF payment when someone gets claims from the unemployment fund. So it's capped at a monthly salary of 17,712 at the moment, which means, and then they've got a sliding scale for 38% on that high-end salary up until 60% on your lower salary that they will then pay out as a benefit. So on that 17,712 salary per month, it's applicable at the 38%, the amount of tax benefit would be 6,638 Rand and 40 cents. On the lower income, obviously the sliding scale will work its way down to the 60%, so a greater contribution or greater portion of the salary will be paid out up until the moment that it dips below 3,500 rand, which is currently the minimum wage. And this is only specific to the TAS and not as a standard to the UIF payouts. The UIF will then pay out the 3,500. So that it might possibly be that that's 100% for some employees that would have earned that prior to the lockdown. So that's kind of the principles of the amount and the payout. And then there's a whole process. And as I mentioned earlier, it has to be considered with a whole, are you tax compliant? Are you paying your UIF? Is the e-declarations happening on a monthly basis for the UIF that was paid over for the different employees? Just maybe also take note, currently there's still a lot of difficulty for the department to distinguish with your foreign workers that doesn't have a 13-character South African ID number as a reference to go by. But there's a lot of different iterations, and if you want to learn or know more about TAS, please reach out to us and we can see how we can assist you, doing an application maybe on your behalf, so that we can get that money back into your employees. So thank you so much. And please remember to watch the rest of the business resilience videos as well. Some great stuff that we're sharing there with you.
Hey, Lau here, one of the founders of Outsourced CFO. If you enjoyed this video, make it official. Click subscribe.